Hi internet, I just spoke to you. This is a normal thing now. What can I say? Okay, it is the 28th. I haven't recorded anything yet this week. I didn't even wrap up last week's until today. And there has been one glaring reason for that, which is kind of obvious with my word count, but also not obvious. I have been so uninspired. I have just been like in a little like slump of a mood. So I haven't really been forcing myself. Also, I've been real tired and cranky. I'm real sleepy and I just want to sleep and everything hurts. The 26th, which would have been Monday, I wrote 49 words, which took my word count up to 45,761 words. Yeah, pretty terrible. And then yesterday, I forced words out of myself and I wrote 1,377 words because, you know, it's the end of NaNoWriMo. I need to get some out in case I didn't get inspired again, which took me up to 47,138 or 62,334. Haven't written yet today, but let me tell you about how today has been the turnaround. So the last couple of days I just haven't really been able to think about the story or anything, and it's just been ugh. Today I have been planning out the entire end scene. The thing that I have been able to do this week is world building around the actual whole world, and I was sitting down and writing my mythology out by hand again. Oh, it's a messy mythology. But it's made me kind of like wrap my mind around things and understand things more. Also, the other thing is I'm still getting a better understanding of how all the stories slide into it and how they all work, which is just something that I did by mistake, but I couldn't be happier. Although, one problem. Last night I came up with my question about my vampires that aren't vampires, but they do survive on blood, and they were cursed to need to survive on blood because of shit. The ones that used the blood magic became sanguines or blood drinkers or vampires. I haven't decided if current day they can go out in the sun, but I'm wondering if it's something that's happened along the generations that caused that, or if they were always able to go in the sun, or if they were damned to only go out at night, because the goddess of death is also the goddess of night. You got me? But they have to, they're the ones who kept the most of their kept their immortality and their strength and dexterity and stuff, but they have to drink blood to survive, really. It's not for humans. They can, some of them, as it's changed, like they've evolved, all the species has evolved. Now, like a lot of the younger ones have magic, especially had magic in their bloodline because of a lot of breeding shit that happened later on down the track, because originally no one was allowed to breed with anyone, and the same ones all along are the ones that like keep mostly to their set court and rules, but there are ones outside of the court and rules, and you know, because immortal beings are more likely to have a royal line. The Fae have one too. Anyway, the reason that I explained all this to you is because I have a question on how sanguines are now made, because as traditional vampires you can make new vampires, not just by birth, although there is a whole thing with that in another story, but my question is, this has been a real long-winded question. Should there be something that stops them from being able to turn everyone? Is it the case of they have to have magic in their blood, or they have to originate from that line, like their ancestors were sanguines or something? I'm probably saying it wrong right now. I've said it 15 different ways the entire time I've named them. It's their Latin name. Everyone has a Latin name. Is it a case of they've had to have killed someone to then be able to be turned later on as a punishment sort of deal? Or is it the case of like the goddess of death decides who gets to become one, and like, I don't know, gives people the option, just decides stuff on her own because she's a boss ass bitch and she can do whatever she wants? Well, she can't do whatever she wants, but she can do whatever she wants. But yeah, that's my question. Like, there's part of me that does want to cap it so that everyone they change just doesn't change into a vampire. Like, I'm not having Twilight takes 3 days to change everyone, but I am having they have, generally it's better if they're on the brink of death, or they have to be on the brink of death to change them. That's kind of been a thing that's happened, mainly because I like that idea that you have to be dying to be changed. That's the way that the venom can spread through your body, but I don't think of it as a reward, so it's always been a punishment sort of thing, and reincarnation is a thing in this world, but it's not widely known. Really, the goddess of death decides how you're going to spend your afterlife. If there's things you need to atone for, if you want to say wait around for your family to come so you can all have a reunion. If you're an asshole and you have unfinished business, so she'll send you back to Earth as it goes, sort of into the in-between, I should say, or some get stuck in the in-between. I don't think she'd send people there really unless they were real cunts. Or if she will send them to her sister, also known as Life or Day, or 1,000 other names, who is in charge of life really, of birth and stuff and reincarnation and things. Like, it's a very complex, it's like a little world in my head that I have all the answers for and yet have no answers at the same time, because it's all just like coming to me. And it's, I feel like I need to have like a difficulty cap on how you can become a sanguine. Like, I don't think it should be that easy. I also think it should help if someone like prays to the goddess of death, because they were originally her followers, as I found out. It was always a case if they used blood magic, and then I found out in this story that it's her magic. It's just, I have so many questions and I'm the only one that can answer them, but I want your guys' input if you have any on what I should do to cap them from being able to, you know, change everyone. It doesn't matter what blood, by the way, they consume, but there has been like certain things that have helped them throughout the years with certain types of blood, not just humans. Humans aren't their main targets. And that's also how like werewolves that aren't werewolves. What have I called them again? I could never remember if they're Denificus or Condemnation 20. So they're the ones with the animal side, not just werewolves. It doesn't work like that. They're the Fae who only have the animal form still, and some of the speed and dexterity. But my theory is like they've evolved to really stop the sanguines from preying on them in certain ways, but I'm still playing with that. I have a lot of room with that. That's one that I'm gonna work out with my sanguine story some more. I don't have to work it out yet. I also, that's not the main antagonist, because I'm over the main antagonist being werewolves all the time. Like, fuck that, werewolves don't need to be an antagonist. Also, vampires don't have to be an antagonist to werewolves. Werewolves can be antagonists to werewolves, I don't care. I'm using very simple terms that don't make sense in my head. So yeah, I'm having a major world conundrum. I've had a lot of realizations for the third act, not for the first block. Just how to make things difficult for my main protagonist, because like she might have the power to destroy someone technically, but how can I make it hard for her? Very easily, and it just makes sense all around in my head. And I've been talking in voice. I'm just real inspired to finish this last act and fucking start on my second draft. Like, the first block of Act 3 can kind of get fucked. The second block can also kind of get fucked. I'm just really interested in the third block right now, which is where I did most of my writing last night as well, but it was real shitty. I was just getting ideas onto pen, because I realized this is how I introduce a sword into the world for a completely different story that takes place a couple of 100 years later. And the powers in that make total sense now. Like, if you told me that I didn't write these stories and like they were laid out before me to discover, I'd fucking believe you, because like this shit's connecting too well, slash I'm manipulating things so that it connects really well, and I have been for a very long time and been working very hard at it and very lazily at it with a lot of procrastination, but that's beside the point. Anyway, I'm gonna go edit this. You guys are going to know how I finished NaNoWriMo. I feel like unless I want to come back and ramble, you're probably not gonna get an update till the end of NaNoWriMo, which is fine, it's only 2 days away. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys later and write the last 3,000 words that I need to write. Bye! Hi internet! So it is the 30th of November, also known as the last day of NaNoWriMo. And I'm just super excited. I'm so excited. Anyway, I think I told you the first couple of days of stats. The only one that I might not have told you was Wednesdays, which ended up being 1,530 words, which was, took my word count up to 48,668 words, and the entire draft to 63,000 and something. That was the day that I kind of like got some, I was still real disheartened that day actually. I was still real like, ugh, I have some ideas, but ugh. Is the best I can describe it. I can't remember if it was yesterday or that day, but it might have been yesterday that I got like mentally my thing back and I started seeing the story again. Also, yesterday I got my NaNoWriMo shirt and I was so happy because I ordered it on the 21st. They sent it out on the 22nd and arrived today, which is I think the fastest I have had something shipped from the US on standard shipping ever, and the fastest I've ever gotten a NaNoWriMo shirt. But the main reason that's exciting is because I'm a winner. Yeah, I got my winner shirt on the day that I won. I don't know how I pulled it out of my butt. Like, yeah, I had a very constant word count, but also at the same time I feel like I got stuck a lot. So yesterday I wrote 2,034 words, take me up to 50,702 words, 65,528 words. That is my orgasm scene. There's no sex in that scene. That is the scene where it's kind of a dark moment and at the same time we beat the antagonist. And now I've split my last chapter into actually 4 separate chapters slash scenes because I realized 4 different points that I need to hit in this, because it's a very thing that's gotten stuck in my head and now I need to get it out. But yeah, I finished the orgasm scene. I've just finished writing the first of those 4 scenes and I have 3 left. To be fair, I have not written blocks 1 or 2 of Act 3 and I'm literally just writing the last block of Act 3. I have like bits in chapter 1 of block 3 of Act 3, but that's about it. I can't see me writing the other 2 blocks until my next revision. The reason for that is I'm not in the mood to fucking write a giant war and try and work that shit out. I need to reassess my voice again. I'm playing with it again where I've gone into first person just to see how it feels for this bit, or if I want to go back to third. I felt like there was too much of a barrier between third and my writing just sucked. It wasn't terrible, it's just like, you know all the problems with writing, you know all the rules, and when you're breaking them you're like, ugh, this is disgusting. I have written so far today, I'm on 51,522 words, which means I have written 820, which takes my manuscript up to 660. But really my manuscript is more at the 51 because I've scrapped a shit ton of it. So yeah, I really can't wait till I fucking can start. I want to finish these 3 chapters for a reason, because I need to mentally work out the end of my resolution. It's all pretty much there. I just want to see like what other things surprise me in this. Like for some reason it never occurred to me that her sister travels in the shadow slash the in-between, so of course she'd be able to go there to see her as she passes. Like the fuck. Also like things, these last 2 chapters have made me like put in the main obstacle of why she couldn't beat the baddie, and it's all emotional stuff and it's fun but it's also exhausting. I just really want to get it out of the way so that as I go back and write my draft I can concentrate on the threads and the things that I know I need to concentrate on, the things that I already have worked out, and then, you know, do the entire war. That's gonna be so much fun. To be fair, block 1 is like she's gotten the information and now I'm fucking around with her, and maybe a terrible moment. And I think I did write part of block 1, maybe. And then block 2 of Act 3 is completely blank. I haven't written anything. Like there's an outline for 2 of those chapters. You can probably see it here. I'll put it here. There you go. It might cover my face. It's just, as much as I love this story, I am fucking over it with this draft, and I want to do pretty things with my writing. And by pretty things I mean like follow rules and not have to consider the story construction so much, but also seriously consider the story structure. I've already started like making a new playlist, which is kind of like my clean playlist, because I just started listening to a heap of music while I was writing and it took away from those ones that remind me of certain scenes. So I am going to go through and like write down those certain scenes and stuff. Like what songs correlate to those scenes. So I have it written there. This is my tracker at the end of it all. I haven't filled in this bit of Act 3 yet, but it looks pretty. See, I put green there for the day that I finished. And then on the next page, I've started my December tracker. I don't know what exactly I'm going to concentrate on in December. I'm going to continue working on it. It's not so much that I have to work on, like write every day in December. I just want to work on it every day. So I might have like put my word counts in, but if I start a second draft in December, I'm going to start from zero for that. So it's going to be like that draft sort of thing. Just gonna see where I go from here. I'm going to be studying books. I need to buy the pastel highlighters that I want. I need to buy a tumbler from Zaraffa's that I want. It's like, it's metal and it will hold coffee and I love coffee. But yeah, I have 2 new shirts tied to my collection, so I'm super happy about that. I won. I like winning. I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday, getting the shirts was the reason that I won. Because I was just like so hyped that I got the shirts that like I sat down and I wrote. And then I think I was also talking out a fight yesterday and I was playing with voice, and it made me realize the differences on how the character talks and how the ethereal being inside of her talks. It just sounds fucked up. So she's really just, the way I see her is like brass, and my actual characters, like my protagonists, always in my head have my voice but don't have my voice. So like if I'm doing a fight verbally out loud, which sometimes I do, just dialogue talk out loud for some reason, the protagonist is always my voice, and then everyone else has their voices changed for it. Sometimes the love interest is also my voice, because I think it's just because they're the characters I'm like so connected to. And then what was it? Like mates have very similar voices, but not always. I can't remember how I was saying them because I can't remember the fight now. But they were just being dicks, and it was weird to me like how my ethereal voice went. It was very ethereal and better than you and predatory. And I was just like, oh my god. And for some reason, British accent, just like weirdly, not even really. So yeah, there was that. The problem is today, I have 2 stories which are fairly human, but not human, it turns out, every time I write them. Apart from one. One is like nearly completely human, and the other one is like sort of human, sort of marked. And like they keep playing around in my head just because I found songs that work for them. And I'm finding all my other stories randomly entering my head this week because I've worked on the world and because it's all like interconnecting and making sense. According to me, in one of my like most of my stories, there is a love interest in the actual story. There is one where there is definitely fucking not, and she don't need no romantic partners in that story. She's a, oh no, I just remembered. Okay, so my warlock, she ends up flirting with the Fae Queen, but that's not like gonna be a love interest thing unless I decide, I don't know, I could just have the flirting. I'm just gonna keep the flirting between those two because they're my baes. But like this one, I felt like, oh, so many characters are pairing off, it's disgusting. And then in the next one, like in universe time-wise, there's some pairing off as well. And then I was like considering all my stories and I'm like, how much of them have, like how much is a romantic subplot? The next one does have a large romantic subplot, but that's more between 2 other characters, and it affects the story and helps throw things into chaos, and someone else that's trying to like get in between them to take over the kingdom and kill everyone. I think that's fine for these two, because like this one, the actual romance isn't the main plot. There's just like something fun to fuck around with. But I guess that romance gone wrong is part of the plot too. In the main part because of the antag. I'm trying to think. Let me see. I'm gonna see how many of my stories have romance in them and then tell you which ones I'm gonna rip it from and which ones I'm keeping. Okay, so number 1, which is my baby that I've worked on the longest. She has a romantic plot, and she is more of a like 2 characters that like are fighting against my romantic plot. Not in a way like it's just been so difficult to get them together. It's in a way where like I want them to have issues with being mates and stuff, well, being together. I want them to have problems and issues with it. In the end, it's all G, maybe. I haven't decided yet. I would also love to break them up, but I also love them together. And I love that's the one where I like love pointing out problems with like why they shouldn't be together constantly. That's just fun to me. The second one, originally like it kind of was, but kind of wasn't. And now I think that like the 2 characters that I had getting together eventually, it just never really felt right. Like, yeah, they lost their virginities to each other, but it wasn't a romantic thing. It was just like, let's get this out of the way so we can plan some evil shit. And I like their dynamic working as business partners and stuff. I don't know how I feel about them as a couple, and because of that, I'm really considering removing the romantic plot between them, but like making it complicated, where he gets a romantic plot, and it like kind of sidetracks what their business partnery stuff is, and she gets pissed. But then she finds out that the one that is interested is actually interesting. And she's like, look, I'll be honest and open with you, because he's like actually told you about me and like our business together. So yeah, but that just popped into my head today. That's staying. Number 3 is the one that doesn't have the romantic subplot, but at the same time, I just realized that she flirts with the Fae Queen. So yeah, there is some romantic tension. I don't know if they're gonna fuck yet, but they could. Who knows? I'm in charge. And writing romance scenes is very hard for me. Not because I'm a prude, because like, I'm not. But, I don't know, it's like, that little teenager in me gets real awkward. Same as when I'm reading Sarah J Maas, and then she throws in a love scene, and I'm in public listening to it or reading it, even though no one else knows. I'm kind of like, I'm just gonna flip a few pages. Also because I feel like hers aren't necessary, they're just fun. Sometimes they're necessary. But at the same time, I don't care. I'm reading you for the fantasy, not for the sexy stuff. If I want to read sexy stuff, I'll read different stories. That's where I get into my trash. Like my trash, I have a trash romance pile on ebooks only. I don't buy them in hardcover because I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Side note, I think if I was ever to write erotica, I'd write under a pen name. A, so I could make my name sound sexy. But B, because I'd want it separated from anything else I wrote. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think when it comes to erotica you should really know everything about the author, but when it comes to like anything else, fucking I don't care. It's just awkward, like, oh god, what if someone I knew read it? Like a family member, I'm thinking. No. We're not thinking that, because that's worse than thinking about them reading my normal work. Number 4 is the one I'm working on at the moment, so yes. Number 5 is the next one, so yes. Number 6, yeah, it kind of ends up having one. It's like complicated, okay? But yeah, it's all about like stuff at the beginning, not at the end. It's my human-y one. 7, I play around with this one if it should have a romantic subplot or not. I don't know. I kind of do. I kind of want to make it a trilogy. I don't know how I'm going to make it a trilogy. I don't know a lot about this world. Like, I know the main character, and I know her best friend and her sister and her mother and who her dad was before he died, and I know the family that's going to move in next door, which is her mother's best friend. So she's known these guys like her whole life, but she hasn't really known them, you know, because they haven't lived next door to each other. It's just fun. I love them, but I know I need to like work on that plot completely and utterly. 8 marked. Yeah, it does. I could remove it though. 9 doesn't yet. I'm pretty sure it never will, but I don't know, she could fall in love with the warlock. I don't want it to though. That's the one that I play with on like if I'm gonna actually ever write it. It would have to be the thing that comes into mind that I'd be like, oh yeah, let's do it. 11, oh wait, no, 10. 10 ended up having it, but it didn't start out like that, and it's kind of like a minor thing, but I really love it. And that's my first, that's one that I won NaNoWriMo with, and it's the one that is the most finished and also the most trash. I mean the actual writing, because like I missed out a lot of things and I didn't write a lot of things. It will need heavy revisions, I'm completely rewriting that, and my first one, and this one. 11, well, yeah, because I guess the way that I'm telling that one, like that's, I called it, always have working titles, by the way, and I've called this one Wolf Bookstore, because I have a premise and that's it. But I like my premise, like 2 packs share in the same town, and she's working for the other, but she's part of that one, and like at bookstores. And then the last one is 2 options. Like, it's one where like is super trash, like it originated from an idea around fanfiction, but not fanfiction, and like I read a fanfiction story and it sparked this idea on me. Slash it could be this other one which is like the prequel to number 6. There's not a lot there to write, but there is. I have that all plotted out if I want to. I have both of them plotted out in both ways, and they both involve teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy. So yeah, I won NaNoWriMo. I'm real happy. And I'm gonna go to bed because I'm also real tired. But yeah, how are you guys going? Are you happy with your writing? Because I'm fucking not at the moment. But also at the same time I am. But also I can't wait to get into revisions. But also I need to study books and do other things. And mainly I need to buy Fallout 76. That's my reward for winning. Although I don't feel like I can buy it until I finish writing these four chapters. I don't feel it's right in my soul. Okay, but I'll talk to you guys later whenever I upload this, because I haven't uploaded last week's yet. I haven't edited it. I've been real lazy. Okay, bye!